So you just went ahead and picked up your very first BMW. Or you already own a BMW and you're starting to realize that your pockets are starting to hurt a little bit too much. But thankfully, you guys went ahead and you clicked on this video. So today, I'm going to be showing you guys my top 3 tips on how to save a bunch of money owning your BMW. So that being said, let's head on straight into the video. So definitely the biggest way you're going to be able to save the most amount of money you can owning your BMW is that you are going to have to try your best to work on the car yourself. And guys, these E46s are such extremely well documented cars online. I can almost guarantee you that there hasn't been a single issue that you fall into that someone else hasn't already fallen into and posted a forum somewhere online. Even if the case you're falling into an issue that does not have some sort of solution somewhere online, you can always go ahead, post something in a forum, and there's a bunch of E46 experts that will always be happy to respond to your post. And definitely some of the best forums that I suggest you guys go check out is gonna have to be E46 Fanatics, Beamer Forums, and Beamer Fest. And when I tell you guys you have to be willing to work on your own car, I don't mean if this is your first time you've ever touched the car to go do an engine swap. Depending on whichever job you decide to tackle, you definitely have to be 100% confident that you can complete the job properly to 100%. I'd basically just highly suggest go on YouTube and see if you can find a video on depending on what job you want to do on your E46. And I'm almost like 95% sure that there will be a video somewhere out there on one of the channels on YouTube that show you exactly on how to do whatever you want to do. And I also don't suggest you guys to go ahead and tackle a job that you're not confident you can finish. Because if you go ahead and you start the job and you end up damaging something or something screws up, and you have to go ahead and fix that issue that you already caused, then it's going to end up costing you more money than initially would have if you just went ahead and went to a shop and did it. I also know one of the downsides about working on your car at home is that, for one, you're going to need somewhere to work on the car itself, and another thing, you're going to need some sort of tools. And I'd be hoping at least majority of people have a driveway they can work on their car, or maybe their friend's house or something like that. And also know a really good way to find tools for cheap is to just pick up like a used toolbox off of like a secondhand website. Like here in Canada, we have Kijiji. I know you guys in the States use Craigslist. And guys, I'm telling you, the price of a toolbox will quickly be paid out for when you go ahead and start doing the maintenance yourself at home. You will literally start to save hundreds and up to thousands of dollars over the years if you're going ahead and doing your brakes at home, you're doing your oil changes at home, you're doing your spark plugs at home, just simple maintenance stuff that's relatively easy to do. You're going to be saving thousands on labor. And one of the best parts about going ahead and doing all those small little jobs at home is that once you start getting used to those types of jobs, you'll be getting more confidence to do bigger and bigger jobs, which then at the end will save you even more money. Alright, so the next tip I can give you guys is to definitely try your best to see if you can find a good place to source all your parts from. I know in terms of part sources, it may differ vastly depending on where you live and where you're located. But some generalized sources I could really suggest is that see if you can find someone who works at a BMW dealership who could plug you their employee discount. Another good place for parts is definitely have to be FCP Euro. The best thing about them is that they offer a lifetime warranty. So this means they basically have lifetime warranty on everything they sell to you. And this also includes stuff like oil, brakes, literally anything. You could go ahead, put oil in your car, drain it out, put it back in the canister and ship it back to them, and they'll literally send you a brand new one with new oil in it. All you have to do is pay shipping for the item and you just get free oil, brand new, back in your hands. In the long term, this will literally save you so much money. I definitely think FCP Euro is definitely one of the best ways you can go with, especially for those maintenance items. So with that being said, the third and last tip I can give you guys is that you really have to be strategic with your spending. What I mean by this is that if a small issue pops up in your car and you keep struggling it back and back and you want to fix it later and later, that small issue that you keep pushing back might actually end up becoming a bigger issue which can cost you more and more to fix. A good example for this is that say that you're driving your car one day and you see the brake light come on in dash. This almost 100% of the time means that your brake pad is low. So if you decide to go ahead and keep driving the car even though you know the light is on, all because the brakes still feel fine and the car still brakes perfectly fine, what you're actually doing is wearing out the brake pad until it reaches that point where now it's going to be metal touching your rotor. And what happens at this point is that when the metal is grabbing onto your rotor, this is going to start warping your rotor and damaging the rotor. So at this point, now you're going to have to replace the rotor and the pad. And I don't know if you guys know, but a decent set of rotors on a car are fairly expensive. And when overall in the beginning, if you just went ahead and swapped out your pads when the light came on initially, this could have been all been avoided. And of course, saved you a bunch of money. Do you guys see where I'm getting at with this? You definitely want to be proactive with stuff instead of reactive. Another good way to think of it is that say for example, you're working on your car and you're deep inside your engine bay and you took off your intake manifold, for example, and you see some of the vacuum lines are cracked, but that's not the initial job you're going to do. If you're down there and you already went ahead and took off your intake manifold, then you might as well just go ahead and swap all those hoses out anyways, because if you go ahead and do the initial job you're trying to do, you put the intake manifold back on, it's going to be so much more work and especially if you take your car to a shop and you have to pay for labor, it's gonna be double the labor just to take the intake manifold back off, just to take off and replace all the stuff that you skipped out on. And this rule really becomes apparent when you take your car to a shop and you're paying for labor by the hour. If you're working on your car at home, it still isn't as bad, but at the end of the day, you still are sacrificing your time. But with all that being said, that's gonna be my top 3 tips on how to save money while you own your BMW. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can just leave them down below and I'll be more than happy to answer. And if you guys want to go ahead and see more of my car, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram. I'll leave it on the page right here. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
To give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see.